Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today, if you want to find love, you have to prioritize it. So, recently, I was watching a sort of documentary about Western society and how it's changed over the last 40 years. It wasn't like a super wide scoped documentary. It was just looking at the last 40 years. And one of the things that really struck me was some of the people who were talking about starting their lives in the 80s and 90s. They said something along the lines of well, I fell in love, or we fell in love. We had kids and we didn't really know what we were doing. We were just two crazy kids. We got married. And we just had to make it work. We struggled to get through school, through upper education, our degrees, whatever they did. We really struggled. We really grinded through, and we stuck together through thick and thin. And now we're here, and we've been married for 40 years. We've been married for 35 years. We've been married for 20 years. We have our kids, we love each other, and it's worked out really well. That is so different than how my generation attempts to date or even attempts to live their life. So the title of this video is If You Want Love, Prioritize It. And I think it's becoming increasingly obvious that my generation doesn't prioritize finding love. My generation isn't interested in it. It says, my generation screams from the rooftops that it's interested in finding love, but it doesn't actually put its money where its mouth is. My generation is not actually serious about finding a relationship. Yes, do I sound bitter? Correct. But it's true. My generation doesn't prioritize actually falling in love with someone and trying to make it work. We prioritize school, education, our career, our apartment, our, daily quality of life, getting the Starbucks in the morning, our avocado toast, which we have been blasted for liking. But it's true. We prioritize our personal quality of life and our individual liberty and freedom a lot more than actually finding love. And my generation loves to cry in the corner and get really upset about not being able to find love. But at the end of the day, we're not prioritizing it. We're not actually putting the effort into it. 30 years ago, the normal thing to do was to fall in love, get married, have kids, and then figure it out. Figure out what you're doing, put yourself through trade school, put yourself through education, some kind of way, climb up the corporate ladder, start out poor, start out just struggling and trying to survive, but you have that person with you and you make it work. Now, my generation looks at love as an end goal. So I'm going to go through school. I'm going to prioritize my life. I'm going to have my nice, cute apartment with my cute little dog or cat. I'm going to have my Starbucks in the morning. I'm going to build that whole thing. And then I'm going to meet someone. It's oh, shocker, you're old and nobody wants to date. This is the problem with my generation, is that we don't actually prioritize falling in love. We don't actually prioritize other people. And I think every generation looks at the next generation coming up and goes, oh my gosh, they're so selfish. But I really do think that my generation is very selfish. And I'm talking about myself too. Don't think that I'm sort of talking down at my own generation. I'm in the exact same boat. I do the exact same thing and I know I do it and I'm trying to change it. But please understand, I am self-aware. I realize that my generation, including myself, doesn't prioritize love, and that's why we're all single and sad and we've never been on a first date. And you can look at all the statistics of Gen Z, and we are we're hiding at home. We're the generation that doesn't actually meet anybody. We don't have any friends. We don't have a social life. We don't prioritize it. Part of it is because we haven't been able to. We don't have the luxury of being able to have a part-time job through the summer that pays for our college. That's not a thing. College is 1,000,000 times more expensive than it was in the 80s, than it was in the 60s, than it was in the 50s. Our economy has become incredibly competitive. It is hard to find a job. Having a college degree is kind of just the standard now. You're just expected to have at least that, but then you're also expected to have like 5 years of experience, which none of us have. And so part of this prioritizing of our lives is because it's become a lot harder. You know, it used to be that a plumber could have a stay-at-home wife, have 2 or 3 kids, pay for their college, go on vacation, and his single income could support the whole family. That doesn't exist now. That's not possible. Rent is 1,000,000 times more expensive. Food is 1,000,000 times more expensive. So I really don't want anyone in the older generation coming for us and going like, well, you know, you guys did this to yourself. Partly, yes. Partly this generation has done this to themselves and we have done this to ourselves. But part of it is the economy and the situation that we find ourselves in and just trying to make it all work. And, you know, it's hard. So if you want to find love, you have to prioritize it. You have to realize that you're going to have a hit to your college. You're going to have a hit to your job. You're going to have to actually prioritize someone other than yourself and something other than your career and your aspirations. If you really want that kind of love that maybe your grandparents had, married for like 65 years and they made it work, you have to prioritize it. I'm sure there were times in your grandparents' lives where they wanted to just kill each other, where they just really thought, hey, this isn't going to work. But for whatever reason, they prioritized each other. And sometimes that was toxic and sometimes it was love. That's just how it works. So in order to prioritize it, you just have to put it first. That's really like, there isn't any like little tip I can give you about finding the right person or whatever. It's just, are you willing to put in the commitment? Are you willing to make that date? Are you willing to not put them off, or are you willing to just focus on them? It is so easy in our society to look at the next best thing that DMs you on Instagram and then decide, oh, actually, I don't want this person because I just want to date around and not get involved in a relationship because I'm going through school. Like, I'm just so busy. That is what I hear all the time. Guess what? Everyone's busy. Everyone is busy no matter what. But the ones in relationships are still busy, and some of them are more busy than you are, but they prioritize it. They make it work, and that's just what you have to do. I'm getting really tired of the excuse, oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I pretty much ghost people after I get that excuse. I'm sorry, I get it. Your life's busy, so is mine. I have 3 jobs. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm still trying to make it work. So if you're not interested in prioritizing love, just get out of the dating scene. Just keep on grinding, get to 45, and then never have another date. You know, I think a lot of people think that, oh, you know, I'll get it all together eventually. No, you won't. No one gets it together. I talk to 95-year-old people who still think, man, I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm just winging it. Guess what? You're going to be winging it for your entire life. You're going to be busy your entire life. If you don't stop and actually put in the effort to make something work, it's never going to work. And so from this day forward, I'm really going to try and prioritize what I actually want. And I'm not going to let this excuse of, I'm sorry, I'm just so busy, get in the way of finding somebody that I want to spend the rest of my life with. So that's my 2 cents on this. If you want love, you've got to prioritize it. If you're watching this and you're in a long-term relationship, please let me know if you think that I'm in the right market, like I'm in the right area. I'd love to know from someone who's actually had a sustainable, long-term, loving relationship if what I'm saying makes sense or if I'm totally out to lunch. I don't know. And if you are single and you have not prioritized falling in love, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are, because honestly, I could be totally wrong. I could be totally right. I don't know, but this is my perspective. I really get sick and tired of people telling me that they're too busy to hang out or they're too busy to go on a coffee date, because you're not too busy for a 45-minute coffee date. I hate to break it to you, but you're not. I'm not. You know, I'm busy, but I'm not that busy. Sorry, this video was a bit spiteful and like, yeah, I'm really trying not to be angry and like but it's all just coming out. This is very cathartic. It's very healthy for me to just bleh. And I apologize if this seems negative or something. I think this is actually very positive and it's very encouraging. There are people at all ages, whether you are 16 or 60 or 75, there are always going to be people that want to prioritize you and your relationship with them. It is never too late to start dating, but you just have to prioritize it. And I think that that is beautiful. So there we go. Ending on a good note, because it is a positive thing. It is something that I think makes the world a better place. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, week, month, year, whatever you're having. I hope it's lovely. And as always, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.